here, so I want to get some things done, and that's the plan. Let me show you guys where I'm going. You see that cute doggy? Look, he all doing his thing. Look out. Ooh, I be worried about them dogs. They just be walking. But I'm looking for a place to get my nails done. I'm definitely getting my nails done before I go. I'm getting stiletto red bottoms, so they're gonna be red in the inside. I'm excited about that. And there's a couple of things I want to do. Get my lashes done. Couple of big things that I want to do before I leave. I'm going to the coffee shop and they got a specially made custom bag of whole bean coffee for me because I love this coffee shop. And you know, my husband is kind of a barista in his own right with our own espresso machine at home. So, and then I want to get my ear clean. So I'm going to do that. So I got a few things I want to do. I'm excited. Seems to be a beautiful day. Sun looks like it's creeping out. So hopefully soon it'll be coming out. And I'll get to talk to you guys for a minute and catch you up on different things. I had a deep conversation that was not welcoming with a friend of mine here in Vietnam about, like traveling and, some characteristics that I notice in solo travelers. And, sometimes the truth and how you feel will get you in trouble. I'm glad I don't have no fear of that because you can't speak on something unless you've experienced it. If you've only been a solo traveler, then you can't really talk about traveling with a family or traveling with a couple. But if you have traveled with a couple as a couple and you travel as a family and you travel solo, then I think that it's fair to say that you have a broader perspective and your opinion is more valued, because you've experienced that, just like with anything in life. So, and sometimes my views aren't popular, but they're mine. And that's why it's called a point of view or an opinion, because it's how you feel. But I do feel like it's some characteristics that solo travelers have. And I can say that because I've traveled a while and I've encountered different types of travelers. I've encountered um, solo travelers, I've encountered couples traveling, people that are traveling for work and they're married, all different types. And I have been travelers as well. So I think that it's fair to say that I have a pretty broad perspective when it comes to that. And I'm grateful for that opportunity to be pretty much every type of traveler. I was a traveler as a child. My father was a Marine, and he took me everywhere. And so I got to experience life traveling as a kid. I got to experience life traveling as a teenager. All of my life, I've traveled. But what I will say is, I- what I will say is that when you've traveled in multiple situations, in multiple ways, you can give a broader perspective. So sometimes the truth hurt, but I kind of told her how I feel. I said sometimes I feel like with a lot of solo travelers that I've experienced and I've been around, that they're traveling, but they're not really going anywhere. They are not, they're either running away from something or running towards something. I don't know. And that's okay, but it's just some of the characteristics, the selfishness, all about what they want because it's only them. And I mean, that's rightfully so because if you're the only one you got to think about, then you don't got to ask nobody opinion of where they want to go eat. So you don't really have that concept. So you do become somewhat selfish in a way. And, you know, and then when you're not a parent or you don't have children, you really don't have nobody to worry about or to be responsible for. It's just you. And that's not nobody's fault, but it's the truth. So I kind of told her that. She wasn't happy about my opinion, but it's mine. So I stand behind it. And also, it's the selfishness of not wanting a family. She used the scenario that her grandmother never got to travel because she had 6 kids and she wanted to travel. That's fine. I bet you her grandmother wouldn't have traded them 6 kids either. So everybody has their perspective. And, it's, it, you know, but I noticed that characteristic and I just wanted to tell her that. And then, well, let me get my coffee and then we'll talk. Hi. Hi. Good morning. I have a hot latte with no sugar. And they have coffee for me. They were supposed to set aside whole bean coffee, whole bean, big bag for me to take a half of liter. They were making for me. The other girl knows. No, the owner was going to give me a bag, whole bean, half liter, half liter. She was going to set. Okay, should be 250. Okay, and the latte. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's okay. Okay, guys. So yeah, so I got my coffee. I got a bag of coffee that I'm taking back for my husband. So hold on one second. Let me set up this because we're gonna have this conversation because I think it is something that and be a lesson too, especially to people that are somewhat narrow-minded and think that live live selfishly and think that there is their way or no way, which a lot of people do. But I try to pride myself on being open-minded. But what you do have to do is respect everybody's opinion. I have learned that, especially through politics. And not everybody's going to agree with you. And here we go. All right, so there we go. Let's set this up. There we go. Okay, can you guys see me? Let me see if I can clean off these lenses and everything. Make sure you got. Okay, so yeah, I had the conversation with my friend. She's from a different country. I won't say where she's from, but it shows you that people have different views. Because I'm a person that believes if you have your opinion, then I value it. I may not agree with it, but I was a debater in high school, and I respected people that did not agree with me. So um, that conversation that I had was necessary for me to have with her because I saw those characteristics in her as well. A lot of times when I see solo travelers, especially women, and I've talked to males, all different races that travel the world, all different types of people, and um, they tend to have these similar characteristics. Like I said, the selfishness. The women are more hard, and you can even portray that and say that it's strength, and they're strong women, and they thank you, and they believe um, that I don't know that traveling maybe is going to heal them or correct their problem, but I had to say that your problems are still going to exist. I don't care where you go in the world. If you have a problem with your attitude or your perspective about life, it's going to travel you through the continents, through the countries, through the cities that you go to. And sometimes God puts me in people's lives to say things that other people don't want to say. That's uncomfortable to say. I don't know why I'm chosen to do this, but it was important that I had to tell this person this, because I see them just going places, but not really having a destination, if that makes sense. They're just traveling, but not really having a purpose. And that was just my opinion. And like I said, if I don't know your purpose, then I got my right to say that because it's not known. And I just had to have that conversation, and it was not very popular. But like I talked to a good friend of mine that I that's a social media content creator. It's a guy. He's an African American man. He was in the service, and he moved over here. Is traveling throughout Southeast Asia, and recently divorced. And he kind of talked to me and told me some characteristics that we kind of agree on. And he said that he doesn't date women that are backpackers, if you will, if you want to give them a name. Hi, how you doing? Jen Jen. So he said he doesn't date women that are backpackers. And I asked him why. It's important to me to hear everybody's view, not just the ones that I agree with. And he says, well, the reason I don't date them is because they're indecisive. They don't know where they want to go. They don't really have an agenda most of the time. It's like just traveling, just seeing stuff, not really having a purpose. Kind of what I said. And then we kind of agreed upon something that a lot of these, because to me, backpacking and traveling abroad can be quite masculine. Now I know that's a strong opinion, and I'm doing it now, so I can speak on that because it's something that I'm currently experiencing. I didn't plan on traveling solo. I'm here for work. I'm a journalist, a content creator, and I got a whole husband, a few kids. They're grown, and my perspective is different than a solo traveler that's single and don't have no kids, right? But I just feel like a lot of times I see these women that don't have any children. They have kind of these selfish way of living their life. It's all about them, of course, because it is all about them. They're traveling solo. Who else is going to be about? So I get that. But there's some masculine characteristics that come with being alone. And you could be okay with being alone, but it's just the characteristics. I mean, I don't like carrying luggage and carrying backpacks everywhere. I hate having to carry. I can't wait to get home so I don't have to have no backpack with me. I just think it's some masculinity with wearing sandals every day. That's why I try to stay in my femininity. Talk to my husband. We go date night. Even when I'm traveling abroad, we make point to go to date night. Even if it's his breakfast and my dinner, or my breakfast and his dinner. And I dress up and I put on a dress a couple of days a week because that helps me to stay rooted in my femininity. So it's something about that. And I get what that guy was saying, the solo traveler. He was saying that. He said, they're like just going places, but they don't have a destination. So I can see that. It's like a blankness about them, or, um, and I get it. People are hurting, and they may be running from something or running towards something. Like I said, I don't know. But it's just something, observation, a simple observation that I have observed. And what I had to tell this person who was very, very upset about my comment was that what you need to do and what adults do is they respect others' opinions, even if they're not popular and even if they disagree. You can still respect my opinion and respect how I feel. And this is my observation. This is my life. I have been traveling abroad, like I said, not intending to be a solo traveler, but circumstances led to that. I was coming for my family. I had a purpose because it was for ancestry, and doing random acts of kindness as a community builder through Kingdom Nomads. So I definitely had purpose. And when you have purpose and you have destination, you see when other people don't and when they lack that. When they're just kind of bouncing from coffee shop to coffee shop, working on their computer, but they're just kind of existing, not living. Thank you. Oh my God, guys, you gotta look at this delicious latte. Thank you. So look at that. Now that's beautiful. And of course, I got my green tea to go with it. So yeah, but those are just some observations that I've made. And one thing about me, even if I don't agree with someone, I don't get upset because I value knowledge and I value perspective and I value what other people think. Even if it's not what I think, maybe it can bring light to something or help me restructure my thoughts or reevaluate my thoughts, even. So I do welcome that, welcome conversation, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations, and sometimes uncomfortable debates. And that's why I love the part I love about traveling is because when you go to different countries, you have different beliefs, you have different perspectives, and different opinions and different cultures. And with all of those things colliding, you're definitely going to gain some knowledge. So, this is my favorite coffee shop, by the way, here in Da Nang, Vietnam. Everybody has their favorite coffee shop, I've noticed. This is mine. and I'm drinking a hot latte with no sugar. Oh, it's delicious. So good. Then, of course, they give you the green tea. So, yeah, but that's just something I wanted to talk about because I was just like, I wish, you know, and my hope is that people would understand, and especially not to pick on like a group of people, but millennials, because I got a couple of millennial kids, so I got a right to say this. They tend to be more selfish because, of course, they're not having a lot of kids like the other generations, so it's mostly just them. And when it's just you have a right to be that way. But even selfish in your views can sometimes spread to other people. So you could be selfish in where you want to go, what you want to eat, because all that is affecting you. But when you're selfish in your views, it tends to breed a narrow-mindedness that doesn't promote change. Hopefully, you're with me on that one. Um, so I'm just a person. I'm very analytical, and through my travels, I'm a people person. So I analyze people, and I come to conclusions based on the data that I receive from the people that I'm around. I mean, where else am I going to get it? So this is actually real life. This is data science in the making. So I see these characteristics. I see characteristics in women that travel with their spouse. They get tired of them too. Couples get tired of traveling with their mate. And like a lot of couples come abroad and they think that traveling is going to help them, and they wind up breaking up anyway because it wasn't about where you were. It's about your thought process, and you need to change your way of thinking, not your location. So I think that it doesn't matter what type of relationships, everyone has different characteristics. The couple relationships, the traveling couples, I've seen them in restaurants just arguing and it's mad and you don't need this and all kind of stuff. I've seen all types of heterosexual couples, homosexual couples, two men, two women, all of these couples have issues. So it doesn't matter what type of couple. The whole principle is that a lot of people think that they can travel their problems away, and you really can't. And I've noticed that, And so a lot of times people come over to different countries and they bring their same mess and they don't work on the issue. They just think that they can see beautiful things together and it's going to change, but it doesn't. So that's an important topic. I've seen people that travel and they get into relationships internationally, and that's a different type. So you're an American person and you come over here to Southeast Asia and you meet a um, Asian person and you start a relationship. They have problems too because they don't have that community. They have language barriers. Sometimes it's sex exploitation, and sometimes the person with lower economic wealth feels obligated to please that person that has um, more money and more secure financially. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I got my coffee, guys. Yes. So I'm excited about this. Oh, it smells so good. So, um, so yeah, I am gonna send this home, mail it. I'm excited about that. Um, so yeah, so I've noticed all of those things, and they've been through traveling, seeing different people. Like I said, every type of couple you can imagine. And they seem to have a lot of these similar characteristics where they try to travel away their problem. You ever see like, a movie or something and couple is going through some things and they're like, we need a vacation. And the vacation can definitely give you relief and make you think and make you realize what your issues are. But it can't fix your issues. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So you've got to do some work to do that and work on yourself and whatever your problems are, you need to work on that. But the vacation can bring those things to the forefront and realization. So yeah, I've just learned so much. And I'm glad and so grateful that I have a healthy relationship with my husband even before I decided to go on this travel journey. It has been definitely healing, but that is because I've worked on the things that I needed to work on. And one of the things that I needed to work on is being a little more humble and not telling God what I wanted him to do for me, but asking him. So I was very dominant in that way, more masculine, I guess. Like uh, I want to go travel to Southeast Asia and I want to do this and I want to save the money and I'm going even without even with my husband, I kind of like told him I was what I was doing. I didn't really consult with him and get his feelings. And I found these things out afterwards, after the fact. I was like, wow, I guess I was selfish in that way where it was just about me and my ancestry and meeting my family and what I wanted to do and not considering that he is a business owner and he can't just leave his business and the things that I do I can do remotely so I have more flexibility. So I was selfish in those ways. But traveling did not make me realize it. What made me realize it is soul searching and trying to fix the stuff that I needed to work on. And while you're traveling, it gives your mind kind of a vacation as well to think about those things that you need to work on and that you need to do to achieve self improvement. So yeah, I realized there's a lot of things that I've had to work on, a lot of things that I have worked on, and a lot of things that I have to continue to work on. And one of those things has been my health journey, and that's an ongoing thing that I've worked on. And I'm very proud of my success, but not so proud that I don't keep trying harder. Because one thing about the body, and my body in particular, is that it's very intelligent. So it has muscle memory. So you can't get comfortable in the same ways and doing the same thing. If something works and you can grab 5 or 10 pounds, or you can learn a new way of doing thing that works better for your body. My body gets used to it. It's so smart and it won't work for long. So I constantly have to evolve and change so that I challenge myself. So that's one of the things over time that over what, 8 years, 120 pounds that I've had to realize I can grab 10 pounds at a time. Then I got to switch it up. I got to do this and then I got to do that because my body is smart and it that's only going to work for me for a small period of time. And I have to be okay with that. So, yeah, that has been, a wonderful learning curve for me. It's something that has really helped me to grow and something that I appreciate more than anything. I'm gonna try to close it because I think they had to open this coffee bag. I could smell it a lot. They had to open it to only give me because I didn't want a big whole bag. So what I gotta do is try to Tight this up so that it's kind of like shrink, so the air, it'll stay fresh. It'll probably get to my house. I think with the post office, maybe 7 days. So, so I'm gonna try to preserve it as long as I can, if that makes sense. So I think I'm gonna wrap it in here, and then I'm gonna wrap it another in another bag. But yeah, so that's just some of the things I wanted to talk about. I've been trying to keep these lives at 30 minutes anyway, so I'm gonna let you guys go so I don't have extremely long lives. And when I go to my next destination, I will be keeping you locked in with me and taking you on this journey with me. And thank you for supporting Boosie Untied. And I appreciate you guys. Bye bye.